So this video will be on Ohio, the great state of Ohio. So Ohio, the Constitution is mirrored off the the Constitution. So Ohio Constitution mirrors the Constitution. So the big Constitution. And so is the state government. So, like the national government, uh, okay, so the Ohio government is like the federal government, the national government. So, like that, it's divided into three branches of government: the executive, legislature, and judicial. Okay, but there are some differences. So, instead of the executive being called the president, the executive of the state is called the governor. Gov, gov, I hope it's right. How do I say it? Okay, whatever. Screw spelling. Government, governor. So it's the governor, which is currently Mike DeWine. And this legislature, it's called the General Assembly. Okay, and then judicial, well, same thing, but it's called the Ohio Supreme. Well, it's the Ohio Supreme Court. And like and like our national government, it's a system of checks and balances, which each one kind of counteracts the other to make sure each branch is not one of the branches are not getting too powerful. So we'll start with the legislature. Like Congress. Okay, when I say Congress, Congress equals national legislature. Okay. Okay, so this is that, okay. So the General Assembly legislature is split into the Senate and also House of Reps. It's split into that. Executive governor. It's like that. Okay, so the u this is how the government is set up in Ohio. Okay, so on the test, it's going to talk about the differences in the Ohio Constitution between the one from 1803 and the one in 1851. Okay, so we'll start with the 1803 Ohio Constitution. So the General Assembly, we'll call this GA. So aka the legislature. The legislature was the most powerful. The legislature was the most powerful, was the most powerful branch, and it could appoint high-ranking officials and judges. And that kind of like led to corruption and whatnot. But politicians. And then another big problem with the 1803, the 1803 Constitution was that the Supreme Court, uh, uh, the Supreme Court had to travel. The House Supreme Court had to travel to each county, which made it very hard. Uh, which made it very hard to like carry out its duties. Each so Yeah, it made it very hard to travel, or made it very hard for the Supreme Court to carry out its functions. And then the next one was excessive state debt. The state could borrow as much money as it can, which had led to a lot of debt. And then also the governor, aka the governor, was very weak. The governor was weak and didn't have too much power, although he was elected. So the 1850 51 Constitution. So it did a lot of it reformed the and tried to fit and went to fix a lot of the problems. So the legislature being the most powerful, it this one weakened it. Weakened the legislature. It weakened the legislature. And then now high-ranking high-ranking officials now high-ranking executive officials were now and judges were now directly elected by the people. So basically, the popular vote. They are now elected by the people themselves. And then now, because the um, legislature got weaker, the governor gained was now more powerful now, more powerful executive. Okay, to fix the issue on the overburdened judicial system, and the Supreme Court had to travel to the Ohio Supreme Court had to travel to each county. Um, a new system of district courts were created, or like more district courts were added to uh to help the judicial system work. So increased number of district courts. And that helped alleviate the issue of the court system. And now the Supreme Court could just reside in one place instead of having to travel around. And then to tackle the issue of state debt, it set a balanced budget amendment and stated that the state uh could not like have excessive debt and limited the amount of debt that the state could have. So limit state debt. Um, is there anything else? Oh, it also stated that uh also stated that actions the legislature cannot make laws that made actions could not make laws that made that that made actions in the past illegal. And then also stated that uh every law, every law and every citizen had equal uh had like equal laws. Okay, I can't like every the legislature could not discriminate or like be selective. Legislature could not be selective or discriminate a community or citizens. So all laws had to be uniform across the state. And then poll taxes were also banned. Uh, yeah, and yeah, I guess. Uh, I think that's all. Yeah, thanks for watching me ramble. I hope this makes sense.